You know how they say history repeats itself? Well, this is that in a phone review. So I've been using this S24 Plus for probably like the last month, and here are my thoughts using it in 2025 when there's better phones out there. Look at this color, bro. This color is super clean. This blue with the shiny silver is actually a really nice design and look. I really like this color. I wish Samsung kept it around, but it is what it is. So the aesthetics and the matte finish, very, very clean. I definitely enjoy. I like how the Samsung logo is like textured. You can feel it. So I definitely enjoy the design of this. Very clean device overall when it comes to that. Screen looks good. The bezels are very thin. It's a modern device, right? It looks exactly like the S25 Plus from this year. Just it's a last year model with a slightly less powerful chip. So yeah, in terms of looks and stuff like that, it's good. Ergonomics are good. The rounded edges, it feels nice to use. And it's not that heavy, to be honest. It's like just under 200 grams, which is lighter than your flagships, like the S25 Ultra, the 16 Pro Max. Yeah, other devices, it's lighter than those. So really good build quality, good design, and comfortable to hold and use. Not too heavy for a bigger phone. This phone has an under display fingerprint sensor. That's been good as well. I feel like it's pretty much the same as like the newer Samsung phones from this year. I don't think they really changed it. And it runs smooth. Like performance wise, let's get into performance since I unlocked the phone. Performance wise, like it's a S24 from last year, right? So it still is top tier, top of the line flagship performance, just not as good as the newest ones. But at the same time, Samsung's phones have never been known for gaming until the S25 series. They've been pretty good with gaming. So, if you're doing heavy things like gaming, video editing, this is not going to be the best phone for that. It still is capable to video edit, still is capable of gaming at a decent rate. And especially if you lower the graphics in the games that you're playing, you can get pretty good FPS. So performance wise, really good phone. And when I'm multitasking like this, split screen and stuff like that, this phone runs flawlessly. Samsung has one of the best softwares in my opinion, if not the best mobile software, like in terms of just the features and how it works. Like for example, you saw how easy it was to get into split screen. That's just something I set up with good luck. It's called one hand operation. So if I swipe and hold to the left, I get this menu where I can open apps and float a window normally or whatever, just cycle through my apps very quickly. If I swipe and hold down, I get this menu. This is very important to me. Adjust my brightness, my audio, without having to press the button. I have a bunch of quick toggles that I set here. You can change them however you want, but hotspot is very important and do not disturb. And then the other ones, I use them as well pretty frequently. So just by swiping and holding down. And I adjusted the swipe to the point where like I can do it pretty fast, but it's still different than just a normal back swipe. So you can customize even how long you hold the swipe and how far you have to swipe it and stuff like that. Like Samsung software just goes in depth. And then another thing I really enjoy about Samsung's One UI is, the widgets. A lot of the apps have transparent widgets. So if you go into the widget, you can change the background to just be gone. So that's something that I do a lot. Unfortunately, in One UI 7, they took a lot of them out. So like this widget used to be able to be transparent, but because of the new redesign or whatever, you can't fully have it be transparent with no background. So that's unfortunate. But still, it's still decent, still a better widget than most other widgets in my opinion. And then I have the transparent folders, so you can change the background of the folders. I also use pop-up folders. This is also found in Good Lock in Home Up, and it's just honestly a nicer experience to have the folders pop out like this rather than taking up the whole screen. And then in my app drawer, I actually like to use folders. This is one of the reasons why I love Samsung software as well. Just the fact that you can have your apps organized even in the app drawer. And then for the app switcher, I have it set like this. I always set my Samsung phones like this. As you can find this in Home Up as well, where you can change your task switcher. And this just allows you to see all the apps very easily and choose what you want, even on a smaller screen. Like I like using this on the Z Fold series, but it works well on regular phones too. So what makes this phone actually really good? I was showing you a little bit of the software features, but honestly, it really is the software for me. Like there's just so many features, I can't even like contain them all into one video. I'd have to make a really long video to explain it, but there's just different things that really make the software nice. Like for example, look at this. On most phones, you only have like 4 apps on the app dock or whatever it's called, but on Samsung devices, you can increase that limit if you want, and you can just really customize how your Samsung phone works and runs to exactly your liking. The multitasking is also like second to none. In my opinion, Samsung it literally has the best multitasking. So I can access apps from the edge panel floating window like that very easily. Can have up to 5 floating windows, by the way. And then Samsung is the only brand that allows you to manipulate your floating windows however you want. Alright, so I was going to show you the fact that you can adjust the transparency of the floating window to make it less visible. And that allows you to see the content behind your floating window. But for some reason, that setting is not here. So I don't know what Samsung is doing with One UI 7. That's the only thing. One UI 7 is good and bad. Like, I really like the new look and the aesthetic and stuff like that. The icons are kind of strange. Like, if you look at the Samsung icons, I don't really understand the changes to the icons. And there's certain things that just like didn't need to be changed. Like the widgets were fine. Overall, I like the new update, especially how they're moving things to the bottom of the screen. It just makes sense. If you swipe up, you can access your search very quickly like that. In the settings, if you go to search, the thing is also at the bottom as well. So those are nice changes. I like that. But certain things just don't make sense. Like, why is the floating window different? Why can't I adjust the transparency? That is strange. If I go into good lock, maybe it's here. These are some settings I always keep on, by the way. Multi-focus. This allows your apps to just keep running when you have them in floating windows or split screen. Certain games, they will stop running if you switch the focus, like if you're using another app in floating window or split screen. So multi-focus, I always have that on. And then prevent pop-up minimization. This is something that I really value. So if I have a floating window and I swipe up, it will stay open. And that happens even if you have multiple floating windows open at a time. So I always have that on. But yeah, it looks like I cannot adjust the transparency, the opacity of the floating windows anymore. That is a weird change, and honestly a random feature to take out Samsung. I don't understand why you're doing that. Aside from that, again, it's a top tier OS experience. Like, Samsung just has so many features. People don't understand when we say this. They have so many features, and you know, they say it's clunky, whatever it is. Samsung's software is so smooth. Like, I have a Pixel right here. You know, we can look at them side by side, swiping up. Which one had the smoother transition? The Pixel looks jarring in comparison to the Samsung. Like, if we're really being honest, which one had the smoother transition? Please let me know. Which one had the smoother transition? In my eyes, the One UI 7, even One UI 6 was just very smooth, and Samsung has been cooking for a while now. Like, this is one of the things that people knock Samsung for the smoothness of the software, the way it looks. I don't know, man. When I swipe down to go into the quick toggles, this looks so much more aesthetic and clean to me. You see the background slightly, and you can even adjust that in Samsung settings. You can completely put a black background just like this, or a green background, whatever you want background. You can adjust all the colors of the accents, the text, the icons, everything you can customize on a Samsung device. But by default, I think it looks really clean and good. Android 16 on the Pixels should catch up to this. I think they're gonna start implementing a design that looks more like this. But Samsung has been doing this kind of design for a long time, and the animations, again, are just so smooth. People always say Pixel OS is, you know, nicer, this and that. I don't know, man. The quality of life that you get on a Samsung device is just really good. Like, even just going into the app switcher, the quality of life is just here. I can close all the apps very easily right here. On a Pixel device, you cannot do that. You can't even do it. Like, Nothing OS, they're a smaller brand, but they have a kind of stock OS Android version. On Nothing OS, you can tap and hold the apps and then dismiss all of them. On a Pixel device, you gotta go all the way to the side to clear all apps or swipe them up one by one. Samsung software is just more convenient, more quality of life. You have app suggestions at the bottom. You have go into your task switcher and just touch an app and hold it, drop it into a floating window or split screen. On a Pixel device, you cannot do that. Android is known for multitasking. You know, people always say, oh, iPhones don't have split screen. But the face of Android, the quote unquote face on Android, the owners of Android, their multitasking is trash. You can't even do floating windows, first of all. And then to do split screen, you have to have the apps that you want split screen open to work. You press split screen and then you have to choose from the recent apps. That sucks. And then a lot of apps just don't work in split screen on Pixel OS, and then also you don't have that many adjustment points on Pixel OS as well. If you rotate the phone in split screen, it stays at the same size. You cannot adjust it at all in horizontal split screen. Trash. On a Samsung device, first of all, I can enter split screen just by doing this, and then search through all my apps or the recent apps at the top, and then so many adjustment points, like very customizable, and it just works well with your workflow. Like, you can customize it how you need it. But if I rotate the phone in landscape, I can still do that. I can still customize the size of my split screen session. So you might think this is trash, but if I'm playing a game, I can literally play a game like this and have a video on the side or messages on the side. Like all that stuff works well on these kind of phones, and I multitask all the time on my Samsung devices because of how good it is. It just makes life so much easier. Like copying and pasting passwords, copying and pasting text, reading an email, checking the calendar at the same time, doing finances, all that stuff works really well on a Samsung device because of the multitasking and how easy it is. Even simple things like, let's say I want to adjust the volume of both, press the menu. On a Pixel device, you have this clunky menu that pops up, it takes up the whole screen. Samsung is very concise. And then you also can adjust individual app volumes. Like that's something that Pixel still can't do to this day. And then also with Samsung devices that I really like is you can tap this icon at the top. Let's say I have a Bluetooth device connected to my phone. I can specifically output YouTube's audio to this device while still playing everything else out loud on my phone speaker. Samsung allows you to have control over where you're playing your audio. So you can play audio in two places. I can listen to a podcast in my earphones from my phone, but then also still play a video out loud for my daughter to watch from my phone, from the built-in speakers. Two different audio streams going to two different places from one device. Samsung just has that quality of life. Like if I want to change the media output, it's always here on the Samsung device. On Pixel devices, you need something to be playing, or you can potentially go here and then you can choose where the audio is going. So you have to do a couple steps. On a Samsung device, media output is always going to be here. And then I have this menu like I showed you earlier with Good Lock. I can do this and that. So I mean, I'm kind of harping on Pixel OS, good phones, just very basic software. But the point of all that was just to show how Samsung software is just amazing, quality of life. The animations are good. Like I genuinely don't understand what people don't like about it when they say Samsung software sucks. Bloatware, it's as simple as this. Tap and hold, select all the apps you don't want, and you can just uninstall and disable them. It will happen very fast. It takes like 5 seconds. Every time I get a Samsung phone and there's apps I don't want, I do that. On a Pixels also have apps that I don't use. Like I don't use Google TV. On a Pixel, I have to go one by one to uninstall or disable these apps. It's a very, very slow process to get rid of these apps. It's not as many apps, obviously, as Samsung's, but there are apps on the Pixel that I don't use that I have to get rid of. And it's just very, very slow to go one by one, go into app info, uninstall, things like that. Or you can drag it up to uninstall. Just like so slow. How does that even make sense? Like if I want to uninstall an app, I have to go like this, drag it up to the top to uninstall, or maybe even disable it. Let's see if I can disable like that. Yeah, can't even disable like that. Whereas on a Samsung, this is the app drawer, tap and hold, uninstall from here. Very, very simple. You have all these options. Like it's just quality of life, bro. And I know a lot of these things are on other Android versions. Like Samsung is not the only one with a lot of these features, but the way that Samsung does it is just so clean, so easy to use and maneuver. It just works. Even straight out the box, like I have customizations on my phone, but straight out the box, so much more convenient and quality of life than a Pixel. So anyways, back to what I was saying. All that to say that the S24 has really good hardware. The cameras are alright. They're not going to be the best cameras, but like for the price, you're basically playing at this point mid-range prices for a flagship. Like the cameras are still flagship level. They're just not top tier flagship level like Pro Maxes, the Ultras, even this Pixel 9 Pro. They're not on that level, but they are still really good. All that to say is you're getting so many features like this always on display, how you can have widgets and it shows the wallpaper. Pixel still can't even do that. You're getting all the features that I discussed with really good hardware. And I think this phone is genuinely worth it in 2025. It's a really, really good pickup, especially at cheaper prices. Price will only go down. Has 7 years of software updates, probably 6 years at this point because it came out last year. But still, guaranteed to last you like 5 years plus, just because of how good the hardware is and the specs. The specs are really good. This particular one is 512 gig, and yeah, it's blessed, man. There's not really much else I can say about these devices. Like the battery life is good too, pretty standard. It's not going to be the best in its class. It's not going to be the best compared to a lot of phones, especially newer ones. But like it's good enough, man. It's really, really good enough. But yeah, so this is my S24 Plus review in 2025. Really good phone. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let me know what other phones you want me to review or what kinds of videos you want to see. And until the next video, we're out. Peace.